A new Mandalorian Season 3 LEGO set has been leaked, inspired by Chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore. The first of its kind, this set includes the giant insect droid that tried harvesting Mando's blood, as well as 3 minifigures Bo-Katan, Grogu, and Djarin holding the Darksaber. It has a total of 526 pieces, retailing for $44.99 USD, and speaking of which, it seems as though we now have an official name for this creature. The LEGO website calls it a spider tank, and the one-eyed creature inside is an organic scavenger, according to StarWars.com. And this time last week, 2 more Mando sets were unveiled, including one of a pirate snub fighter from Chapter 17. This one has 2 minifigures, Thane, Gorian Shard's Nikto pirate, and a separate pilot. The other set is Din Djarin's N1 Starfighter Microfighter, a much smaller set. The pirate set releases on May 5th, and the other one sometime in August. Now tomorrow, guys, is Season 3, Episode 3, Chapter 19, as well as the Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 13, Pabu. At the time of making this video, we don't know the episode title for Mando just yet, and there have been absolutely no leaks for it. All we do know is the runtime, 56 minutes and 11 seconds, a nice lengthy one, and this one is directed by Lee Isaac Chung, co-written by Jon Favreau and Noah Clore, who also worked on the Book of Boba Fett. Earlier in the week there was a new teaser trailer, we saw Coruscant and Pershing, and this has led many fans to assume this week we're gonna see Moff Gideon. So there could be 2 storylines, Bo, Din and Grogu after seeing the Mythosaur on Mandalore, and what's going on politically on Coruscant. This is just speculation, nothing confirmed, but we're gonna find out in a few hours time. Now there is one frame from the original final trailer that we don't talk about enough, one we haven't seen in the show just yet. Mando goes to a droid bar, that's right, a cantina full of droids. We see some battle droids, astromechs, you name it. I'm not saying it's in the next episode, but it is very interesting, and it got me thinking about the first episode of Season 3 with IG-11. Let's dive into this. Mando needed a droid to take with him to Mandalore. After rebuilding IG-11 went wrong due to a missing memory circuit, he went to Peli Motto on Tatooine, and she gave him R5-D4. The astromech did the job and successfully tested for toxicity on Mandalore. But I don't think this is the end of Mando's search for a memory circuit, his desire to rebuild IG-11. Maybe R5 malfunctions, or Din simply wants a droid that can protect him and Grogu, especially from dangerous situations. I don't think Din's search is over is what I'm trying to say. It's just been put on hold while he sorts out his atonement. R5 is great, but I think it's temporary. I reckon this subplot is going to be picked up again near the end of the season, once they're done on Mandalore with the Mythosaur, uniting the clans, and so on. Din is going to try and find a memory circuit. We know this thanks to leaks from Making Star Wars from last year, that Grogu's going to use IG-11 rebuilt as a mecha suit, but where is Din going to find that circuit? Well, as some fans have suggested, what if he finds IG-88's body on Bespin and uses that one? But here's the problem, IG-88 is no longer there. He was rebuilt a couple of times after The Empire Strikes Back. He has an entire journey documented between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. First of all, he was rebuilt and hired by Sly Moore to kill Darth Vader. As you'd expect, that went very wrong, and he was destroyed by Vader. After that incident, IG-88 was repaired by a human cyborg engineer called RB-919. He handed the droid to Devalompop, a marauder who'd been alive since the days of the High Republic. IG was then hired by Crimson Dawn to track down Boba Fett, and when he did, Fett froze him in carbonite. The droid freed himself and went on to live well into the sequel trilogy era, but who knows, before then, in the Mandoverse era, maybe Din came across him and stole his memory circuit. But it's more than likely he finds one elsewhere, maybe at the droid bar, or maybe it's not going to matter. Maybe after searching and failing, he's going to come to terms with this IG unit being built as a mecha, instead of having his old programming. I must admit, the IG-88 stuff would be a really nice callback, but the question is, would they do it, and is there enough time? I do think the small plot points will come full circle though, but probably in a much more convenient way. But if they do decide to go the long route, Din seeking an IG unit could reintroduce Boba Fett, as he remembers IG-88 well. Let me know your thoughts on this theory in the comments down below. As I say guys, it's probably not going to be tomorrow, because we're still dealing with Mandalore, and is Bo going to tell Din about the Mythosaur? He was passed out. There is a lot to sort out in the mines, and what they're going to do with that information. I theorize they're going to go to the armorer, but before then I think Bo realizes this is her opportunity to regroup the Night Owls and get back on track with the goal of ruling the homeworld. There was that leaked footage by Bespin Bulletin where Bo-Katan beats up ex-Woves and Koska Reeves. That could be a show of power. At the moment they're mercenaries. They abandoned her, but I don't think it's going to be too long until they're reunited. But it's not going to be easy. I think Bo and Din's first instinct is let's go back into the waters and try and find it. That's all I'm going to do in terms of speculation, guys. I did put forward tons of theories in separate videos. Please go check those out if you've not done so. And so now, my dear Mandalorians, a bit of Mandalorian news. Giancarlo Esposito has opened up about what attracted him to playing Moff Gideon in the first place. The latest issue of Star Wars Insider, which came out today, contains a full interview with the Moff Gideon actor himself. In his own words, he said, "I look for a complete script. I look for characters who are inspiring and who move our imaginations from one place to another. It just so happens that I've been asked to play characters in certain projects that have had somewhat of an edge, a darker side if you will." He went on to say, "It was hard to say no to Jon Favreau when he called to tell me he'd written a role for me. It was a great honor, whether it had been Star Wars or some other story that spurred my imagination. But the world of Star Wars is one that I've admired since I was younger, and I've wanted to see films return to that mythological level of storytelling. That's something I think the Star Wars franchise has done so well. I've loved working on The Mandalorian because it's about wonder and anticipation." And then he says, when Jon Favreau asked him if he had any requests for the character, he said, "Yes, I want to have a cape like Darth Vader." And in the past, my dear friends, we have spoken about the fact that maybe at one stage, Moff Gideon was a Darth Vader sycophant, an absolute obsessive. He's definitely not a Sith, but someone who was a wannabe. He's seen the opportunity in the vacuum of Palpatine's death for someone to come to power, and he wants to be that person, which is why I think he's eventually going to die at the hands of Thrawn. When Grand Admiral Thrawn makes himself known in the New Beyond, I think that's going to be a wake-up call for Moff Gideon that someone else wants power, and Gideon is arrogant. He thinks he can take on anyone, but he's going to learn pretty swiftly that's not the case. So I think in Season 4 of the Ahsoka show, Moff Gideon is going to meet his end, or at the very least, be set aside. First of all though, in Season 3, he's got to break out of prison. In other Mando news, we have a new poster for Peli Motto, or should I say, Peli Motto's Tooth Gap featuring Peli Motto. Another awesome poster, just like for the Book of Boba Fett. It's really cool to be getting character posters every week, and for the Bad Batch, the latest one is Mayday. Rest in peace, the Bad Batch is about to get crazy. And one final thing for The Mandalorian, did you notice Bo-Katan wielded the Darksaber so much more easily than Din? I mean, sure, she had it in the past before losing it to Moff Gideon, but she was a badass with it. Din Djarin is still struggling, and this, in my opinion, is the perfect opportunity for Sabine Wren. If Mandalore's going to be reunited by the end of the season, maybe she can be contacted by Bo, leave Ahsoka just very briefly, and come back to the homeworld, and there, she might train Din, if of course he's still going to wield it. I don't think the Darksaber matters as much as the mythosaur. As the armor told us, that is the new symbol that will herald a new age of the planet. But the Darksaber still belongs to Din, he still struggles a bit, and just as Kanan taught Sabine, maybe Sabine can teach him. But what do you guys think? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. As always guys, tomorrow you can expect my full Mandalorian breakdown. I can't wait to talk about everything. As I say, if you missed my theory videos over the last few days, please go check those out. If you enjoyed this video, why not give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. May the Force be with you always.